So yeah, I hope you can hear us. Hello.
Yes. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Welcome to Fun with Relux, episode number 10. What's the topic today?
The topic today is once again the ReluxCAD for Revit, our plugin for the BIM software from Autodesk Revit, and we have some new impressive features in it, and that's the reason why we will show you Revit now once again.
Yeah, right. Yeah, as Klaus said, we had an Relux Fun with Relux session yeah, in the past regarding BIM at all. The topic was BIM processes, or how to do lighting design with BIM. This is 1.5 years ago, I guess, and yeah, and since then, of course, in this session we had a presentation of ReluxCAD for Revit. So you had, if you have seen this episode, you have an impression of it. But we have done so much new stuff into our ReluxCAD for Revit tool that we was thinking that it's useful to show it again. And the biggest point, or the biggest point for me in this early age of ReluxCAD for Revit was the input export option, the input export function of Relux Desktop and Revit. So this was really one great tool or a great option to have this BIM model in a Revit environment transported into Relux Desktop, so that you can do your lighting design, and then you can put it back into Relux into Revit. So this was great that you have this both worlds united in an interface via this plugin. This was at least for me the biggest feature in the old in the first old ReluxCAD for Revit. But today we have made a big step, a big progress. We put in a photometric calculation, the photometric calculation out of Relux Desktop into Revit directly. So you can do photometric lighting calculations directly in Revit without using any Relux Desktop, any other lighting application software. You can do anything in terms of lighting calculation down to the point directly in Revit. This is new. This is 1 year ago we have implemented this. So we had stripped down our calculation core, our radiosity calculation core. Relux Desktop has 2 calculation cores. We put in one of the calculation cores of Relux Desktop into Revit directly in our plugin, and you can do almost everything in terms of calculation in Revit, what you can do otherwise in Relux Desktop. This is the biggest change. And this is something we want to show you, how to do photometrics lighting calculations with view distributions in Revit directly without having Relux Desktop in first place. Yeah. And today we want to show you much, so it's less discussions, less presentations. It's directly going in demo mode. We will show you the application, show you the tool hands-on, and demonstrate you this new world of lighting calculations in a BIM application. Maybe you ask yourself why it's just Revit. Revit is with a large distance, the main used BIM authoring tool if it comes down to technical stuff in the building, so lighting, electricity, plumbing, HVAC. This is really good handled in Revit instead of the other BIM authoring systems. So this is also the reason why we go into Revit and not to other BIM authoring systems yet. Yeah. So maybe later.
Maybe in the future.
Yeah. And also the Revit is also quite good ranged in the world. So from my personal perspective, it's 80% of the whole world doing BIM applications, doing Revit. This might be a bit tunneled because I'm more in the building environment stuff and not in the steeling or whatever of a building. But yes, also the numbers, if you check up which application systems, BIM application systems are on top, you always find Revit in the top. Okay,
let's start with the demonstration.
We start with the demonstration.
You have the first part.
Yeah. I will start, and Klaus will follow and show more on the outdoor stuff. I start with the indoor stuff. And I want to start with, we need to go down, and I start with IFC. Yeah, thanks, Lars. I start with IFC because we got often the question, okay, you have a plugin in Revit. What is about IFC? We want to use IFC files in our lighting calculations. We want to have IFC files in interface to Relux Desktop. And we don't have a direct interface yet for IFC into Relux Desktop, but we can import Relux. Yeah.
Sorry, there was a one click.
You did not see something. Now you should slowly see it. You don't miss a lot. It's just an impression of an IFC. I have here an IFC file, and I want to demonstrate how to put an IFC file into Relux Desktop. This is possible, not direct, but it's possible with using Revit. So we can import any IFC file into Revit, and this works quite well. It could be, because IFC is not IFC. It could be use some options. You have to do maybe some interpretations for Revit, but in the end, it's getting better and better. That Revit gets the most of the IFC format, not everything, but no application, no BIM application gets everything from IFC. It's also something which is a bit complicated in this data format. But if you want to have an IFC file into Relux Desktop or in Revit, you can use just IFC as we have here. This is in building in Cologne, Germany, where I have an IFC, and this is in real building, in real IFC. This building was really built, and this is reality. It's not in fake or something to do demos. It's in real building created in real life. So I just want to show you briefly that it's really an IFC base. This is closed, and I'm going into Revit. This is this example here, and this is the building, how it looks into Revit. So this is the IFC file just imported in Revit. You can see the building structure comes quite good into Revit. So the IFC was quite fine for this purpose. But what I was missing is in room structure. So the IFC import comes like this. There was no room structure at all. So the walls, the facade, everything, but not the room structure itself. In the IFC file, there was just no IFC space. IFC space is the structure for explaining what is in room zone, where are the rooms, and this was just missing in the IFC file. So it's not the fault of Revit, it was the fault of the IFC file. It was maybe not exported, so this was just empty in this. So I have to put in rooms into Revit. This is something which is easy to do. There's somewhere here in architecture, I guess, the feature to do rooms. So I can click here and put in rooms into area of walls, and this works quite well. This was relatively easy to identify and to select rooms, but this is something you have to do in this case. Maybe you have IFC space, and this is of course directly converted into rooms in Revit. So, and now I want to calculate this room. I have here selected a nice room. I have named it. It's German, sorry. It means exhibition, Ausstellung. And this room I want to calculate, and herefore I need luminas. And we have here in our ReluxCAD for Revit, this ribbon here above. This ribbon above is ReluxCAD for Revit. Here you have all the options, all the features in one ribbon line, and here you can do a lighting calculation. And here in this side view on the right side, you need to have luminas. And there are a couple of methods to put in luminas into it. And I want to show you something which is relatively new. It came also half a year, 1 year ago. We had this feature that you can put in directly oil.dat files or WOLF files or also RFR files, so family files. And I put in here just an oil.dat file by drag and drop into this Lumina selection panel. It takes a while, and now in the background, the OLM file, the LDT file, is converted into a family file with geometry, with photometrics, with name, and so on. Everything which is in the OLM file, which is not so much. It's name and cube or an rectangle box, and the LDC, of course, most important, and the name. So it's not so much into it, but everything we have is now here into it. And this works with all the OLM, with all the Luminar files, not just member files, not just manufactured files. It works with your own created files, with any manufacturer from any source. This works quite well and with a wide range. Also can use own family files, manufacturer family files. Any source which contain an LDC could be used in ReluxCAD for Revit. So no worries, this is open for any Luminar. So, and now I want to have in calculation, I can also drag and drop this Luminar now into this room and have in Photometric Calculation. But I did not want to place it by hand. This is a bit more painful in Revit as in Relux Desktop. So there's no big helping tools like in field arrangement or something. There is in field arrangement in Revit, but to find the right level to input this luminars and so on, this is a bit more tricky. It's possible, but it's a bit different as in Relux. And so, yeah, I try to avoid this. And we have also a tool called EasyLux. It's the same tool like we have in Relux Desktop, which helps you with an LOR method to put in the right amount of luminars into a room by the LOR method. So this is in simple calculation. We need to select a room. I make the mistake again and again. So this is the room. I have to select the room. It didn't found a ceiling. Sorry, this is German, but I will translate in time. We found no ceiling, so our plugin assumes a ceiling in a certain height. So and now we have in calculations. This is already an photometric calculation, and this photometric calculation brings us this result. So it starts with LOR. It does an LOR calculation and light output ratio calculation, which brings the amount of the luminars, and this amount of the luminars is then positioned in this field array, and then we get a photometric calculation with the results here. And also according in standard. So we see here the standard values, the values we want to have according in profile. And these are the values comes from our photometric calculation core. So this means you have a uniformity, you have a UGR value, you have values on the ceiling, on the walls, and so on. You have everything. And green indicates that it's above the standard. So this means this is fine with the standard. And you can do some changes here. We will extend the possibilities we have in arrangements. We will also allow grid ceilings and so on in the future. So this will be expanded as we have it today in Relux Desktop. In Relux Desktop, we have a lot of more options to find the right arrangement, the right field arrangement in EasyLux. But this will also here grow in this direction. And yeah, if you are finished, if these values are fine, which is here in my case, so you go to apply, and now the 16 luminars will be put into this room. We can close this here now, and we see nothing because we have to switch on the false color, and now we see here the false color of our floor here. This means 300 lux is okay. You can also see the values directly, if you like. So also the values are represented. So this means this is really photometric calculation, and this works also in 3D. So we can also switch to 3D and switch on here also the false colors, and can see here the false colors. Here in the 3D we see also the luminars which we had with the LDC in the room. Here the walls, and this is just a direct source. So this means the walls are not so good illuminated. But the floor itself, it's quite well according to this profile. Now I had one share, I had one desk in the room, and I want to have the calculation of this desk. And for this calculation of the desk, I need some kind of task area. And to create a task area is not so easy in Revit as it sounds from the native tools in Revit. So you can create objects, but Revit is really down to family files. So this means you need to create something to put it as a measuring area. So this is why we created a simple and easy to use tool. We called it picking tool. Pick the area pick. In German, it's Fläche auswählen. Sorry for the German version here. And for this picking tool, for this picking area tool, which means you can pick in task area, including surrounding area, we have here some settings. You can set here the distance, the offset in the Z axis from the area to the task area, to the measurement area. This means how many space you want to have for this measuring head if you're doing measures. And also the surrounding area, how large the surrounding area should be. According to 12464, we have to have half a meter around it, but you can adjust it here. And if you don't want to have a surrounding area, you just enter here in 0 instead of half a meter, and then you have no surrounding area. So I'm going to pick this desk. It's easy like this. And now we have task area and surrounding area here on this desk with 5 millimeters in offset. And now I need to have some more luminars, because this desk will not be good illuminated with this 300 lux arrangement of luminars. And now I go to demonstrate you into ReluxNet and search for an freestanding luminar according to have more light directly on the desk. So I go here for standing luminar for floor, and I also want to have a luminar with a model, with a 3D model. This is really important if you have this freestanding luminars in a Revit environment, and with one click and one conversion, I have the luminar here, and I can easily take this and put it to the desk. I do it just roughly, and with the click of the space bar, you can also have one more in the other direction. So, and now I want to have to do a calculation on this, and of course EasyLux makes no sense in this case. So I have to select the room again, and after the room selection, I click on this pocket calculator here, like in Relux Desktop, and now it calculates the complete room, not just the task area. You see here direct, indirect rendering. You can see here the progress, and you can see in false color the desk area here also, and also in 3D. Bit more interesting, the false colors on the desk with task area and with surrounding area. From this luminars also, of course, also the ceiling luminars also have impact on this area. And if you're interested in the values, we have here a table, and in this table you have these properties of these two areas divided, and you can see here uniformity, max, min in the illumination values from the desk. And last thing I want to show you is also an option to have some kind of sketch overview, where you can see also if you double click here and make on the false colors, we have also then false color here in this view. And you can also see here what kind of luminars I have. These tables are created automatically, and also which rooms I have and which is inside in the rooms in values, in uniformity, possibly also UGR, etc. Everything is here, and also which kind of luminars I have that reached, and these luminars are here. If you have in ReluxNet or in family file or in Wolf file, then you have more information on the luminar. If you have just an Olympiad file, of course, you have less information on the product itself. So, and it's the German in indoor, and this with the area, with this picking area, works also quite well in outdoor. So this is something we have prepared in this project here. This is an Revit sample with an outdoor area, and the same no, sorry, too much clicks. The same stuff works in outdoor as well as in indoor. You have to pick an area, then you pick this area and do a calculation with the pocket calculator here, and then you got false colors, values, the tables. everything we want to have in photometric calculations to this area. And we have prepared it in advance, to be honest, because in the outdoor situation, everything from the outdoor scenery, so this small wall here, the ceilings, this detailed trees, and the complete building is transferred into the calculation core. And this takes a bit of time. And this is about 5 minutes or something, and we didn't want to stress this 5 minutes here in our presentation. That's why we have prepared this outdoor situation. And but this is a good point to give over to Klaus.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the reason. But I will, in the second part of my demonstration, I will show you we have now also a good possibility to speed this up when we work together with RELUX. But in the first thing, I want to show you also a point which is all the time in RELUX Desktop a little bit a problem, because we have there only for our rooms in RELUX Desktop, you have only in set extruded rooms. That means you have flat ceilings, or you have in X extruded rooms. So you have a limited possibility just to create saddle roofs or something, but you have not a possibility to create complex ceiling shapes for your rooms for your building. But now we are working together with Revit, and we have to find a solution to realize this also for more complex room forms. And we have now here the possibility for here. This is also an example from Revit, where we have here a complex skylight situation. And now there's the possibility to go into. I will jump here in a section view, and select here this upper rooms, this upper rooms with this complex roof. And now I go to RELUX and go to the export function. And I want to export it here to, doesn't matter.
Yep, you have to name the project file.
Create a project file for this room and export it to the RELUX Desktop. This also takes a short time, mostly about the luminaires which are inside of this project. And
the more complex the room, the longer it takes.
Yeah. And then we will have in RELUX, one second, please.
Yeah.
This is not important. Sorry, I was too. Now, here. Here we now inside of RELUX Desktop, and you will see now that we have imported this complete corridor from the 3rd floor of my Revit building, together with this complex roof shape and skylights. And here we have prepared here also a calculation before. It is also useful for daylight calculation of such situations. And it is easy to realize that that you can simply, with a few clicks, export such complex structures into the RELUX Desktop project is a big advance in comparison with that you're modeling all these things by hand, for example. And the second point, which is also really great work from our developer team about Revit, is that sometimes here we have the problem in many situations. Don't need
autosave.
Yeah. Autosave. We have very often the problem that the buildings, the completes are very, very large. And when you export, especially in our exterior scenes, to RELUX, you will have a big amount of triangles and calculation time, and also storing problems. And now we have the possibility here to set a section box. The section box is a tool from Revit. So I guess most of you who are working with Revit will know this section box. And we have now the possibility to limit the export. I will make it here in this part so that I have just a part of my complete scene, and then I go again to the export.
So we're assuming that Klaus will just calculate this parking lot there. So
parking lot, and
I don't need the other side of the building.
I don't need it, yes. Or sometimes in many situations you have more than one building inside of your situation and so on. And then here in this example, very important to deselect the rooms because I don't want to export all rooms. I just want to export the exterior. Yes, sorry we have forgot to switch the language. German, this is the exterior scene. And here we have the possibility, the option to export the selection box.
Only selection box.
Only selection box. And then I will
name.
I have to change the name because it's still open, and then I will export this this section, and then later in Relux I will just get this section and a few seconds, then we will see it. And this gives you a big possibilities to handling really large projects, which you have Revit models that you can use it for calculation in Relux and to work in a useful way with very large, big exterior projects, and maybe also sometimes in large interior projects.
Yep.
You will see it's still quite big. And when we now take a look to the 3D, you will now see it is really funny that you have here. So the cutted building. I have also the possibility to use a cut really so that I have just the facade, which is the only important thing when I want to calculate this parking area in front of the building.
It is also nice to see that also the luminaires are exported and the calculation area is exported. So
yes,
this works quite well. That you can, and if you change the luminaires here, if you change the position of the luminaires, the type of the luminaires, whatever, then this also could be read into Revit again. That we have really a closed cycle of working with this model back and forth, and do your changes and your luminaire settings back into Revit in any dimension, any property. So this works well.
Okay, that is what we want to demonstrate you in the program.
Yep. This means we can go to the questions.
Let's take a look.
If you have questions.
We have some questions.
So we have to open up this question sheet, and there are a couple of questions. One comment. Sound is good. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sorry, last time we have some.
This was the wrong microphone. This was the microphone behind the glass wall you have listened to last time.
And the second question, will the session be available as recording? Yes, it will. As all the others of Fun with Relux, you will find it in YouTube, or maybe on our homepage. There you will find the links. And the next question. Thank you for the webinar. It's very useful. Is it possible to import LDT file into Revit and export it as an RFA file? So we can send it to other companies as Revit file rather than LDT. Kind regards. Yes. You have the possibility with that what Robert shows you, that he has imported the LDT file, and then later you will have the possibility to save this family file with the standard Revit functionality as a RFR, and other users can use it in Revit.
Yeah, you find it in the project tree. There's a project tree where you find building objects, luminaires, and then you found the imported LDT files in the luminaire, and then you can right-click context menu and say save it as an RFA family file, and then you got it exactly in the same look and feel. You can also use the family editor in Revit to expand, to exchange, to edit this LDT file, to maybe expand or extend the geometry of it, or to put a color onto it, or to add another IES file from another site to this file. You can really create your own luminars in Revit and then export it or use it in our tool. Everything is possible without any restriction. So a question from Mike, which easy looks, it is a lumen calculation. How do you calculate uniformities? Yep. Yes, I try to explain by demonstration. We start with lumen calculation with LOR method to get a rough number how many luminars we need. Then we fill up a grid, and with this grid we go into a photometric calculation with a radiosity module, and then we get this real numbers, this real results. Also for this false colors, we get out of this real photometric calculation. So it's both. We start to have a clue about how many of them we need with the lumen method, and then we enter up with the photometric calculation. And this lumen method is so quick, we don't need a bar for it. It's just there. It's quite simple mathematically. We just need a bar because of this indirect and light bouncing stuff and so. Yeah.
Do the Revit files become very large with the lighting calculation information within them?
Hard to say. I would say no, not really, because we do not put so many complexity in it. The luminars itself could be quite extend. If you have a complex geometry on the luminars itself, yes, this could pump up the file size. Yeah, it's a question about performance and storage space. Yeah.
However, it's an interesting. So we have a little bit to study the situation and in real projects what really happens.
But the measurement areas are so minimum in information that it's not really blow up. The geometry is the point. Yeah.
The sounds seems to have gone. I guess no.
This okay from our
side it should everything work fine. But
okay, so we really have an issue. The microphone
is working.
Works here, so the microphone's working, and also here. Which okay, good.
Okay,
maybe it was just an.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Could you have an example to think about how to creating the Revit family file? Sorry, we're a little bit short in time, but simply check in Revit the tutorials about creating families, and so it's just 2 clicks to store these family files. Hello, I'm a lighting designer in Colombia, and I would like to know if in RELUX I can configure the shape of the luminaire so that it will display it in Revit as required.
Like I said, you can use the Revit family editor. Then you can edit any building object, including luminars, of course. And then you can, with Revit, you can create any shape of the luminars in Revit. In RELUX, not. In RELUX, we don't have a luminar editor. The luminar geometry comes from the luminar manufacturers, and there's another tooling, not just one tool, more tools to create a geometry.
These are tools which we are given to our members, luminar manufacturers, so they can give you their models in as a 3D geometry, but actually it is not possible for external persons.
No. Not yet, maybe later. Maybe. We have there's something in change because we have also new data formats like GLDF, etc. There it should be easily possible to create own luminars so that the tooling gets a bit more free with GLDF. But this will we have too less time to go in detail with this.
But it's on the way.
There's some feedback. Thanks. In Colombia, we require software validation certificate under international standard. Is it possible to obtain a review? Yes, indeed. We have on our website on relux.com. We have an standardization certificate. It depends. Maybe you need something Colombian special. I have no clue how it is in South America. But we have some kind of statement where we state what kind of standards, ISO, a lot of SEN standards, but also ISO standards we are referring to, which we are complying to, and this is signed by our boss. So this is a document which maybe hopefully hits your requirements to a certificate. And also maybe interesting, we have also some kind of certain certificate. It's a study how accurate our calculation core is working. This is a study to prove our calculation core according in CIE standard. In CIE was 100. I didn't have the number, but this is also online in proof of our calculation core according in CIE calculation core standard. Also on our website. So next question. Thank you for this useful presentation. How height of measuring plane can be changed in Revit to calculate light at the dark level on the floor level? It's I guess it's at the moment not possible to change.
No, it's possible, but I guess it was a little bit too short. We have an offset. You first, when you're defining a measuring area, you are doing this by clicking a face. And then you have the possibility, a parameter, to say what's the offset above this. So you have the possibility to click if you want to have a virtual measuring area 75 centimeters above the floor. You will set this offset to 75 centimeters, and then you will have, you click on the floor and the measuring area will then 75 centimeters above.
Yeah, I also have we have also some stuff to tell about the commercial side, because this is also interesting for you, because Relux Desktop is for free. As you probably know, Relux Desktop can be used freely by everybody who can download the installation file. But this tool, this RevitCAD for Revit, costs money. So this means this is in commercial products. You have to buy it from our online shop, for example. And there's an option to have a free of charge test period of 30 days, a bit like all the Autodesk applications like Revit. So you can have a free test of 30 days of this plugin. Give it a try. If we have done it 1 year or so ago, we have renewed this 30 days trial with this photometric calculation option. So it's possible to have a new trial for 30 days if we have done it 1 or 2 years ago. And after the 30 days, you have to take the choice if you want to invest in it. And it's at the moment you have to pay 438 Swiss francs converted to your currency, and this is the price at the moment. You have to pay for it in order to use it. Therefore, it's free of any Lumina and so on. So no restrictions on this. And we have also, and if it's maybe too complicated in the beginning, we also recommend a self-study course. We have a self-study course on our website, which shows you all the possibilities, all the features. It's an online training course with a couple of hours, which you can also find on relux.com. And if you have questions about what I get for my money, if you need some arguments for your boss to convince your money giver for this tool, you can always contact our sales via our support at relux.com. With this email address, you reach out to our sales and just ask, I need some arguments for using this tool, and then our sales are happy to help you and to give you some arguments and some features what you get with this tool. Yeah. Also, we have to announce what will be coming next in ReluxCAD for Revit. We are close before publishing a new set of standards in this tool. We have at the moment the old EN 12464-1, and we have almost finished implemented the EN 12464-1 from 2021 to the new 12464, which has a big difference in the standard. See our last episode, I guess, was about the new standard with all the changes. And also we have also the US standards or a lot of US best practice situations implemented, where you can also see what is in the States in requirement of certain user profiles. Yeah, and as I told by EasyLux, we will have some more EasyLux features. We're going also maybe for UK interesting. We will go also in emergency calculations in Revit directly. This will happen hopefully this year, that we have this year, end of this year, and in ReluxCAD for Revit version, which can also in the same way also the optimization process with the room manager. We didn't show today the room manager, which is a powerful tool to apply a lot of rooms in a batch process. This will also be possible with emergency lighting. So maybe a really big help if you have to do a lot of emergency stuff in your designs. This will coming up. So this tool is still in development since years, and also for next years we will put more and more into it. It will never be finished because everything is changing from time to time. So we need, and we also want to make in progress in this application. There's tons of ideas we have to make the life easier with this tool. So yeah, it will not be boring and not be finished. Yeah, there's also another question, maybe interesting for us. Is it possible to handle object as a design object in Revit too, like chairs, plants, etc.?
I guess not at the moment. I guess we will switching off some objects inside for the calculation to speed up the calculation. But we will keep this in mind for thinking about optimizing this point. It's a really interesting point for accurate calculation and so on.
And technical possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Technical.
Good. Then our time is up. So thanks for being with us. Thanks for your attention for the last 40 minutes.
Hopefully we will see you next time.
Next time is on the 19th of May. Yeah, 19th of May. And we will have the topic street lighting. So everything down to street lighting. Also interesting.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice to meet you.
Bye. See you. Bye-bye.